That was Randy Travis, Better Class of Losers from 1992. Folks, it's now time for a Gov Talk program hosted by Scott Johnson. Today's guest is the Bedford County Emergency Management Agency's David Kitchens. Scott, take it away.
Thank you, Producer Chase. This is Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting here in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Bedford County. It's that time of the month when we have David Kitchens, the Bedford County Emergency Management Homeland Security Director, to come in here and talk about various things going on in Bedford County and public safety. Good morning, David.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here. I know your brothers and sisters in East Tennessee are staying very busy over there. Unfortunately, a lot of tragedy. But I know they'll get through it, and I know the state's there helping them. So anyway, what do you want to talk about today, David?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Okay,
and what
all
it
right.
means to us, and some about what we got coming up and what's going on for us. But yeah, that was a tragedy in East Tennessee, and I know Wayne is planning to deliver some supplies and things like that. The Celebration is planning to leave and take some also up there. I was talking to Wayne earlier about all the things that they need. Our office will be a little bit later planning to take some stuff. We contacted the people up there, and it's like Wayne was saying, they're good with water right now, so they're needing other things. So we're going to see what these places need and try to do a direct gathering of things that they need.
Well, I'm sure as you know, those things evolve over time, and what you need in the beginning is not necessarily what you need a week later, right?
That's correct.
Of course, they'll be in recovery mode for years.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Tennessee is a volunteer state, so I know folks will be going to help out. Man, that's a beautiful part of Tennessee.
It is.
And, of course, our hearts go out to all those folks that have been impacted up there, and to the public safety people, because I'm sure they're working around the clock.
They are. They're going, they're doing shifts. They're having other people come in and kind of give them some relief. I mean, we have people from the area here that are down there. We have people from Murray County, Moore County, our Duck River Electric and Chevrolet Power has linemen up there to help restore the electricity. Our TEMA representative for Bedford County and Moore County, he's there also. So we hope that they stay safe and in all their endeavors there and their travels. But yes, we're the volunteer state, and they volunteer to help, and that's what they're doing, and that's what we'll always do.
Well, I know, David, you've talked many times on your show and here over the last few years about being prepared yourself in your home to at least be able to sustain you and your family or whatever for at least 72 hours, 3 days. And whether it's having enough water on hand or fuel for your vehicles or whatever it might be, right?
That's correct.
Or food or medicines. And
you can put things away in a little tote that are non-perishable food items and have your water and things like that. This disaster we had in East Tennessee, who would thought that a hurricane that we normally, when we talk about hurricanes, is the coastal areas that get the damage, but how far that went up into the U.S. and into North Carolina, South Carolina, and
I guess
Tennessee.
It just dumps so much water so quickly coming down those mountainsides and causing mudslides and
That's correct.
Flash flooding and all that sort of thing, where it just it happens so quickly, right?
It does, and just having, and you're right. I always say, and maybe people get tired of hearing me say,
I think this is a good time to reinforce it,
and it is. It is. Just think about if something happened like that. I mean, it doesn't take. Of course, they had overabundance of rain. We haven't seen anything. I don't know in that area, but here in Middle Tennessee, we had 14 inches of rain in 2010 when we had the floods in Middle Tennessee. So they had I've seen
houses were floating down Bell Road in Nashville, right?
And I saw that some of the numbers were close to 20 inches of rain in some of those places. So water, when it falls, it has to go somewhere. And
that's so mountainous and hilly there.
Is.
And stuff's built down, and I guess it's usually built down in the hollers and the valleys because it's easier to build down there.
Right.
And of course, that's where all the water runs anyway, the creeks and rivers and stuff, and makes it so difficult. But folks, and I tell you another thing too is I was in Virginia one time when they got hit with a huge 4-day power outage. Cash was king.
Right.
You know, it wasn't that folks' homes and stuff were impacted, but you couldn't, because almost nobody has generators, right? Banks don't have generators.
Right.
Most stores don't have generators. But if you had cash, you could buy whatever you needed to buy.
Correct. Yeah.
They just couldn't process debit cards and stuff like that. So it's always good to have a little cash on hand, too.
And that's right. And just be aware of what's going on. I saw the people were going, before the hurricane was supposed to hit, that they were going on vacation and didn't realize that when they got there, the beaches were closed. Now, I don't know if that's a true story or what, but
they weren't situationally aware.
Right, they were not. So pay attention, listen to
absolutely
what the authorities are saying or the information that you're getting, and make your plan off that. Start right then when they start talking about we may have something going on. Deciding what you might need to do and taking care of that and going ahead and get it. I will tell you this, that unfortunately, disasters teach lessons, and our group has been monitoring what's going on in East Tennessee too, not because, well, we know folks there and we want to keep up, but a learning experience.
There's always lessons learned out of this,
and you know what the resources are if something like that would happen here. Who are some of the people we're writing down and keeping up with? What about this person to this? So it's a learning thing for the others also. You know, like I said, fortunately we're not having to go through that, but we use that information to help us if we do have to go through that.
Absolutely. So, folks, you know, like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with our folks, brother, sister, East Tennessee, what's going on over there. But there are lessons learned that come out of these, and just make sure you've got enough water and food and medicines and that sort of thing to hopefully, of course, in a lot of cases, these people, they may have had that, but their houses.
Right.
Their houses literally washed away. Right. So even if they were prepared, their house was gone. Yeah.
And that's where heed the warning. You know, we have a lot of people that, and I understand that we see that don't want to leave. And I
don't want to leave their home, right?
That's right. Or evacuate. But you know, if the authorities or the people say that it's probably a good chance that it's going to be pretty bad, it's not a bad idea to, and some of those folks maybe didn't have time. They didn't realize.
I mean, you recall what happened in Waverly a few years ago, and I'm not sure where they're at on that. I think they're probably still recovering in Waverly.
They are. They
had that immediate flash flooding, and unfortunately had quite a bit of loss of life.
Right.
And my wife had an aunt who's passed away now, but she lived right on the beach in Florida. So she went through, I don't know how many hurricanes in her lifetime, but she had a place 2 hours inland. When the authorities said, you need to watch out, she'd get in her car and leave.
Right.
And she'd go to a place inland. And her house did get blown away one time. So,
right.
But she was really good about
it.
Not everybody can do that probably, but she was good about getting out of there.
Right. So, and like I said, you know, we use it. Of course, we have the Duck River that goes through Bedford County also. We have Normandy Dam that's out there. So we are always evaluating, looking at maps change, and so we try to keep up on it and use.
Talking about the flooding inundation maps, like
Correct.
where the 100-year floodplain and the 500-year, and you might explain that a little bit. I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to happen every 500 years. It's like, 1 in a 500 chance of happening.
Correct. So,
which is pretty good odds on it not happening, but they're calling this one in East Tennessee a 1 in 1,000. Is that right?
That's correct. Right.
I mean, what's the odds, right? Because I know of course, you being in the business, I was in the business a long time, I just didn't remember a lot of disaster stuff in East Tennessee because most of the weather that comes comes through, tornado weather stuff kind of fizzles out over the plateau.
Right, the mountains knock it down a lot of times.
Yeah, and of course there's all kind of it in West Tennessee.
Right,
flatter land. And even in Middle Tennessee.
Right.
But so those folks over there, the 1 in 1,000, good grief. But anyway.
And then weather, phenomenons that happened before. Gatlinburg had the wildfires. So
that 2016, yeah.
Right. So that even though it was that long ago, they're still vulnerable to have slides because that vegetation and thing has not got back to where it was before. It takes
a whole generation kind of to come back, doesn't it? That's a good. You're right, David. That's a good example. That was a huge disaster up there. So I stand corrected. At least we know about that one.
Right.
And there was loss of life in that as well. And
correct.
Very difficult. And that spread very quickly.
It did. The
fire did.
But it's like the domino effect. We had that as a disaster, which was very bad, but it takes years
to recover
from something like that, and then you get a big rain event like we just had up there, and then you worry about the mudslides and things like that too.
That's true, because it's not even just Gatlinburg, but there's areas, I know they have periodic wildfires all throughout the mountain areas up there, right? Because they get so much dead undergrowth and
then
stuff.
Along North Carolina also.
Yeah, because it's all butts up right against each other right there. That little triangle there of Virginia and Tennessee and, well, Georgia too, and in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So
South Carolina got some mountainous areas.
Yeah. So anyhow, well, I know there's a lot of folks here in Middle Tennessee that are helping them out up there. So I'd call ahead before you head up there, or call your office, or do whatever to find out what needs to happen and where it needs to go.
Right, and if you want to, you can get on the TEMA website.
Okay.
They have resources. Also, they have some county numbers that you can call for distribution centers and so forth. So if you go on the TEMA website, they'll have it up there, and you can give them a call. Plus, they're updating their information all the time about how you
folks, Dave's talking about the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency. Those are Tennessee folks.
Right, state emergency
state folks, and I know they'll have Patrick Sheehan and his folks will have a ton of information up there. So good suggestion. If you want to help out, get on that website, and they'll have phone numbers. I know they'll have phone numbers probably for some of the emergency operations centers. Another thing up in East Tennessee to help out, and because I know folks really want to help out. So, what else you want to talk about, David?
Oh, well, just some of the things we've got going on.
Okay.
And some of the things we're into.
All right.
One big thing, and then they've been announcing it here on the radio program, is we have a basic Skywarn spotter class tomorrow.
Okay.
Right. Tomorrow from 10 to 11:30. It's going to be at the First Church of the Nazarene. They're on Union Street, 834 Union Street. National Weather Service is going to put this on, and we'll be out there. They're going to talk about weather, basic thunderstorm development, and all kinds of different things, how you can supply information if we have things like that, talk about basic severe weather safety and things like that. So we were proud to be one of the counties chosen to host one of those. They did 10 counties across Middle Tennessee.
I was going to say, because there's not as many of those as there used to be.
No,
right?
This is they've just gone back to in-person.
It was all online.
Classes. It was since COVID. So we were glad to be chosen. So if you can, come out. And
those are fun classes.
Yeah, we'll have
learn how to spot certain things depending on cloud types and everything else, right? And become, I guess, what would you call it? A certified storm spotter?
It could be basic certified storm spotter. Yeah,
for National Weather Service.
So we're looking forward to that. We've been promoting it. So if you get up in the morning, come out and visit us down at the church, and we'll do the.
So that starts at what time?
10 o'clock till 11.
10 o'clock, First Church in the Nazarene. You can't miss it. Large church there on the right on Union Street across from the old hospital.
Right.
Folks, we're talking to David Kitchens, the Bedford County Emergency Management and Homeless Security Director, about different public safety issues and disaster preparation, preparedness, and response. And we're going to take a 60-second break and Be right back.
Hey, listen up.
Kincaid's is currently having a big closeout sale on all furniture. Take advantage of deals on a huge inventory of name brands like Flex Steel, Jackson, Catnapper, Ashley, Ardent Home, and so much more. It's time to stop by Kincaid's and shop the huge inventory during their big closeout sale while supplies last. Buy local with Kincaid's, offering financing and free local delivery. Located on the Kincaid corner on Madison Street in Shelbyville. Kincaid Service Company, where service is their middle name.
At Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care, they strive to bring you excellence. Their family-friendly atmosphere makes going to the doctor a breeze. They provide their patients with in-depth eye exams with same-day glasses, a wide selection of name-brand frames like Ray-Ban, Versace, Coach, and more. They also have contact lenses and are able to treat ocular diseases and eye injuries. Need an eye exam? Trust Dr. Hasty and Family Eye Care, located at 605 North Main Street in Shelbyville, directly across from the U.S. Post Office. 931-684-2020.
Folks, it's Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting here in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Bedford County. About 50 miles south of Nashville, 25 miles south of Murfreesboro, in the lovely rolling green hills of southern middle of Tennessee. It's that time of the month we have David Kitchens, the Bedford County Emergency Management Homeland Security Director, in here. We've been talking about several things with David, the issues and the disaster response over in East Tennessee, and also about the Storm Spotter class that's going to be tomorrow at First Nazarene Church, starting at 10 a.m., 1000 for you military types out there on Union Street. What else you got, David?
We've got all kind of things coming up. So, of course, we do our special events, and this is special event time.
It really is, isn't it?
It is.
What's that little bitty events out in Bell Buckle? What's it called?
Craft fair, maybe?
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Like 40,000 people a day for 2 days.
Right. Yeah, we have that coming up. But right before that, October 11th and 12th, is the Jack Barbecue down in Moore County. So we're helping. That's right. We're going to help.
It's kind of back to back, yeah.
Right. And then the next weekend, the 19th and 20th, is the Bell Buckle Craft Fair. So come on out to that. Both of those events.
They're both great events. They really are.
And they're both coming back pretty
Just got to
good.
put up with some traffic. I mean,
Right. They're both coming back really good after COVID. COVID kind of slowed things down. But, there'll be plenty of booze. I haven't heard a number of vendors at this year's craft fair yet. But
well, I remember at one time, and I guess it's when you were at TEMA before you came here, you guys talked about it. There were more vendors at Bell Buckle than any other event. I mean, number of vendors in any other special event in the state of Tennessee.
Right.
Like 800 vendors.
Well, last
something?
year, I was going to say, we had like 860.
Yeah. I think
it was.
So, folks, if you can't find what you're looking for, you can find it in Bell Buckle on those 2 days, and it's just a great crowd and a great group of people. I mean, it does take a large public safety presence, and you guys got to do a lot of planning for that, but to keep everyone safe. But it's a good crew, and I know the barbecue is too down there.
It is
down in Lynchburg as well.
It's a neat thing. They have the squares is set up with some vendors there for that. So. Of course, it's the championship barbecue cook-off, so that's
it's kind of hard.
I enjoy going down there to work that. I'm not going to lie.
Now you don't sample the goods, do you?
No comment on that.
No comment on that. All right, cool. You prefer beef or pork?
Either. All the above.
The answer's yes.
Yes,
that's right. It is. It's really good, and they do a great job down there in that community.
But some other things that we've got going on as far as events is a Veterans Day Parade. I'm not sure when I'm back, but I'm going to go ahead and I think that's the 9th of November. So keep that in mind. That's
whatever the Saturday is closest to the
11th.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's the 9th.
It's always on a Saturday now, right?
It is.
Well, folks, come out and support the veterans, and I know you'll have more information. Well, actually, you'll have a program before that parade. So
yeah, but when you get it out there, get that on your calendar.
Absolutely, folks. Come out and support our local veterans here. And I know you guys are working that.
But a couple other things that we're working with. So we've got a lot of exercises and things like that. We're working with our school system.
School safety.
Right.
That's a huge program.
It is very big. We're part of the safety working group with them, along with other public safety folks, including schools and
city, county, state people.
Right. Yep. All the above. And we're doing we do drills at the schools all the time, but we're going to do a school tabletop with them right after the first of the year, and then we're doing a full-scale exercise, which that is a tabletop is talk about and
sit around a table, literally.
Right, and talk about your policies, procedures, what would you do.
Who's responsible for
Correct.
what? Yeah.
And then we're going to do a full-scale later in the spring.
Where you actually go through it.
Right.
Respond and go through it.
And go through the whole thing themselves. So we're
you play like you practice. So.
Right. Yeah. Working with that and getting that done. We're also working with Vanderbilt Bedford Hospital. We've got actually that's next week, tabletop set up with them to discuss things at the hospital. Should something happen there, hazmat-wise, and then we're actually doing a drill with our hazmat group, our SRT team, Special Response Team, hazmat group, in November at the hospital there. So we've got that. Also, we're participating in Vanderbilt's doing a evacuation drill, but this covers the South Central Regional Health area, which is 13 counties. So it's going to be, everybody's going to be involved in that, but it's going to be focused here in Bedford County at the hospital. So they're actually going to move some patients, and that'd be late or early February. So
got a busy schedule then.
We do. We got a lot
going on,
but that's how you learn, and that's why you make sure that you.
We get lessons learned from those drills too, right?
And you
walk with them, and go, okay, maybe we need to improve this area, or yeah, we did this well here, and
right. So we know that we need to focus more on this area about how to improve something, and it's not a judgment thing. It's a learning experience, and
absolutely
good things come out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't equate it to sports because, I mean, you don't see any of our local high school football teams not practicing.
No, they practice
just don't go out and play the game, right, whenever something happens. So you got to, even in public safety, you have to practice for when it's showtime.
That's correct.
Right, when something happens.
And that's why we do, public safety do the drills and have the things that we do, talk about them and so forth. Another thing that this is big for us. So we were awarded the Kevin and Avante grant, which I've been talking about. It's the grant we applied through Department of Justice for missing individuals with dementia or developmental issues. We were granted that grant. So listen in the future for other announcements. We're going to be out in the community talking about it, how we can do it. There's all kinds of things for the kids, educational things, plus passing out some sample kits about to go ahead and if you have a child or someone who has dementia or come up missing or would wander, going ahead and getting these people to have these kits where they have a sense. So should they wander off, we already have that done and be able to start our process.
Huge difference timing-wise, right?
Right.
Because you can get moving right away. And you may mention the listening audience, too, that you guys have a partnership with a couple other counties on
we do.
your canine search teams.
We do. We have what we call the Tri-County search team. We have Franklin County, Moore County, and Bedford County.
All bloodhounds, right?
That's correct. We have 5 dogs, 6 handlers.
Train together.
We do. Actually, I think in December we have our certification coming up for all of them. But so we respond. We've responded all over. We've been to Giles County, Putnam County, all over, of course, locally here in the counties here. Yeah. So it's a very good program. I will say that I didn't realize the percentage of people that's diagnosed with dementia until my mom was. Yeah. And so I got to looking into it a little bit more and had no idea. So it affects a lot of families.
It's pretty common, yeah.
So this is a great program. We're proud of it.
Where families can actually prepare to have their loved one found fairly hopefully quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
So
okay,
this
good.
program goes across the.
So I guess
country.
the grant pays for like the kits and things like that.
Correct.
Okay.
And also the education part of it. So
materials,
and then additional equipment if we should need things and things like that. So
okay. Well, good.
We're excited we got that.
You know, a lot of times people go, well, y'all got drones. You can find. Guess what? Drones can't fly in all weather, but those dogs go in all weather.
They do. They do hot, cold, all the above.
That's right. Tammy gets out there in all weather, right?
Right.
That's
Tammy,
the canine handler, folks.
Right. That's our handler for Bedford County. But yes, they do a good job. They
deploy no matter what. Drones can't always do that.
They do. They're trained just about every week that our schedules will allow, and they're passionate about what they do, and they're good at it.
It's just a great tool and resource to have.
So that's kind of the things that we got going on in the next couple of months or so, and then it's got. Oh, and I need
y'all don't get bored, do you?
It's and then throw in Christmas shopping in there somewhere, I guess. But we're not that far away from that.
Oh God!
I saw Christmas.
My wife was talking about Christmas shopping yesterday. I'm like, wait a minute, we're barely into October.
Right.
Yeah.
I've already seen Christmas decorations and stuff at some of the stores. So
yeah, I guess we don't have that rule. Wait till after Thanksgiving anymore.
No,
that went by the wayside years ago, right?
It's before Halloween now. So, yeah.
Right after Labor Day.
Right.
I think that's when it starts. Right after Labor Day. But well, good. Well, David, we do appreciate you coming in here. And for those of you, in the listening audience that don't know it, emergency management's that group of folks. Every county is required to have an emergency management office.
Right.
David works for the county mayor, Chad Graham, and you work with state officials, city officials, town officials, other county officials to plan and prepare for and practice, like all the drills you're talking about, on various issues in public safety. So you guys are working with the fire departments, EMS, you're working with law enforcement, highway department.
We do.
Public works.
Schools.
That's a huge program.
Industry.
School safety. Industry. Yep. Industry. So a little bit of everybody.
Correct.
To keep folks safe here and be well prepared here in Bedford County, right?
Yes, sir. We tried our best, and every day it's something new, and we're looking out and trying to find answers and getting people prepared. So yes, I can't. It seems like I'm always talking about planning, but that's the big thing. Is you got to think about this stuff. So
let's. We got just a couple minutes left. One of the things that kind of reminds me of what I saw in East Tennessee, and it's always kind of been difficult to get folks flood insurance.
Right.
I assume the federal government still has that program.
Yes, they do.
And if you live in an area, especially that's within the 100-year floodplain or the 500-year floodplain, I guess you'd recommend having that flood insurance, because I remember when Nashville, I guess you were working in Nashville then, the vast majority of those people didn't have flood insurance, so they were limited in how much money they could get from the federal government. And
That's
I think
correct.
Individual assistance is like $42,000. It's somewhere in there anyway.
Right.
So that doesn't go very far to recover in a house. So, folks, I guess maybe you encourage folks to take a hard look at the flood insurance program.
Yes.
Which is actually kind of run by the federal government, I guess, or backed up.
It is, and a lot of times, I've seen cases when I was with TEMA that places have flooded that I'd been to that did not have flood insurance, and after them being flooded, they are required at that point to be able to reopen to have flood insurance.
There certainly are zones like that.
That was a business.
Folks, it's obviously a tragedy. You lose your home, whatever, and hopefully there's no loss of life when something happens. But when then all of a sudden you find out, I don't have flood insurance, but that was a flood incident. And you're very limited on what the federal government will provide.
That's correct.
So I'd highly encourage people out there to you can go online and see the flood maps.
That's correct.
That FEMA has for Bedford County because of the Duck River in Garrison Fork and some other things here. Go on there and take a look and see where you're at and what the odds are, and you may want to get some flood insurance.
Right. Plus, it gives you ideas of if we do have something, escape routes or places that you can get away.
Because some roads, it'll show what roads are basically going to be blocked.
Right, and it's very good at showing where the water will probably go in that area. And you're correct. There's some areas we've already identified that will be cut off until it goes down water.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen here.
Right.
I mean, we're seeing what's happening in East Tennessee, but the Duck River, and of course we have the Normandy Dam, and if we had that catastrophic rainfall, and we do get it every once in a while where the water gets up over Cannon Boulevard in Shelbyville, and it gets close, and I don't know, I just thinking about folks that don't have flood insurance that really should have it. I mean, I know everybody's got a limited budget, but you don't want to lose your $300,000 house and not get anything for it. So,
right. And another thing is I've learned this through the years is you can't say or don't say it won't happen to me. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people in East Tennessee that maybe
1 in 1,000 chance of that happening, right? That's what they're saying right now. So what are the odds? The odds are it wasn't going to happen, but it did.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately. So, folks, take a hard look at that. Be prepared. And if you got any questions, you can call the Emergency Management Office here or go online and see what they have online. But also, please, you own a home, take a look at the flood insurance and take a look at your area to see if you're in an area where you probably should have flood insurance. Because a lot of carriers, a lot of mortgages don't require it.
Right.
Businesses are a little different. But, take a hard look at that because that just put a tragedy on top of a tragedy.
That's correct. It does.
It causes a lot of bankruptcies, things like that afterwards. So anyhow, David, we really appreciate you coming in today. I know folks appreciate everything you and your staff do to keep everyone safe here in Bedford County and making Bedford County a better place to live and work. Thanks for coming in. Folks, this is Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting, the only locally owned radio station here in Bedford County. Until next time.
At Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care, they strive to bring you excellence. Their family-friendly atmosphere makes going to the doctor a breeze. They provide their patients with in-depth eye exams with same-day glasses, a wide selection of name-brand frames like Ray-Ban, Versace, Coach, and more. They also have contact lenses and are able to treat ocular diseases and eye injuries. Need an eye exam? Trust Dr. Hasty and Family Eye Care located at 605 North Main Street in Shelbyville, directly across from the U.S. Post Office, 931-684-2020.
Isn't it time you had a good night's sleep? People at their best get their beauty rest with a personalized Simmons Beauty Rest sleep experience from Kincaid's, who's always been your hometown source for top-notch customer care. From Inner Spring and Plush to the luxurious Beauty Rest Harmony Collection, featuring pocketed coil technology designed to restore your sleep with individualized support. Call Kincaid's at 931-684-5662 and get your beauty rest with impressive selection of Simmons Beauty Rest mattresses today.
WLIJ. Now that's